How do you get out of the friend zone?
Wow, what a serious question off the bat. This is a great
It's
one.
common. Yeah, this is a big issue.
Yeah, a lot of people ask this, right? I mean, who hasn't been in this situation?
Welcome back to Heartbreak Hotel. I'm Nuala O'Neill, and today I have my sister with me.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
This is Nuala Grace O'Neill. If you want to find her on Instagram, you're just on Instagram now.
Yeah.
TikTok, yeah. Instagram girly. She is a neuroscientist. She just graduated from the University of Rochester. She is very beautiful, very intelligent, very charismatic, just all around an incredible woman. I'm very excited that she agreed to do the podcast. We were in the car the other day talking about different neuroscience principles on how to make someone fall in love with you. So that's what we're going to be teaching you guys about today. What can someone hope to learn or accomplish from watching this episode?
Such a great question. Well, I hope that people can have some confidence in choosing some different approaches maybe to gaining likability with those people around you that are really based in neuroscience, that are like founded by scientific principles that are reproducible. It's been proven to work. So I hope at the very least people find it interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited. Before we get into that though, you're applying to med schools right now?
Oh yeah, sure am. Everybody cross your fingers for me. I'm applying to MD, PhD programs in neuroscience.
Yeah, that's so exciting.
So I hope to keep studying neuroscience.
Yeah,
definitely.
and you're working in a lab right now as well.
Oh, yes. So, and, shout out to the University of Pennsylvania for giving me access to all of the online scientific journals that, we use to prepare ourselves a bit for this interview.
Yeah, scientist, guys. I'm so excited she's here.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about how to make someone fall in love with you, naturally. So how do you define love? Like, what are we talking about here?
Such a real question. Everybody's been asking it since, the beginning of days. We just watched Romeo and Juliet, right? But I'll tell you as a neuroscientist what love is. So yeah, this might be even, I'm sure this would happen in my head if I see Rachel Zegler. First what happens, when you're really feeling like you're in love is a big dopamine rush. Mm-hmm. And this comes from the hypothalamus. It's part of the reward circuit in the brain. So anytime you find basically any activity enjoyable, you want to do something, that's the neurotransmitter dopamine doing that for you.
Okay. So people can give you that.
Yeah, people can give you that. Drugs can give you that. Exercise, anything where your brain says, we're going to want to keep doing this is what dopamine. So it really gives you that wanting feeling. Mm-hmm. And then what's also going on is cortisol. So when you're starting to first feel in love, you're feeling actually a bit of stress.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what they say. Fine line.
That makes a lot of sense for sure.
Yeah, and then after that you have oxytocin and vasopressin, and these kind of contribute to a sense of social belonging, well-being, that long-term attachment.
Okay.
So first, big dopamine rush.
Okay.
And then you have oxytocin and vasopressin.
Okay.
And then past that, even for long-term relationships, you have serotonin, which forms long-term bonds and makes you feel really at home and loved.
Okay. So do you think that you can artificially give people these chemicals?
I think
I don't know if
can,
that's the best word.
Yeah, that was a good way to phrase it.
Okay.
So you can increase or, decrease. You can manipulate these different, neurotransmitters and hormones based on the situation. Mm-hmm. And there have been years and years and years and years of studying done on this. So, I referred to my neuroscience textbooks and all of that stuff.
It's kind of scary to hear love broken down into such chemical terms because is it truly just like how a situation makes you feel that makes your brain think? Is it just a dopamine rush? Like, is it just something that someone does that makes your brain feel a certain way and then you think you're in love? Like, is there any actual feeling or is it just your body responding to situations
of reward and stress?
What do you think?
I think that is such a complicated question. I think it's got to be different for everyone, I think. Everybody's brain is a bit different from each other. But I don't know. I love love, believe in love, I think. I think that there is something more than just the neurotransmitters. Like, for example, oxytocin, right? It's one of the big love hormones and chemicals in your brain. And it actually causes a reduce in blood pressure. It kind of calms you down. It gives you a very calming feeling. But that can also occur, I know you have cats. I love my cats.
Yeah.
When you're with animals, you have a sense of social belonging
Aww.
and empathy and caring, and it lowers your blood pressure, it lowers your heart rate. So things like that. But of course, I don't think anybody's going around falling in love with their cats as much as, I joke about that. But
So it's not necessarily just chemicals. It's
no, it's, I think, a much more deeper human emotion.
okay.
More than just science. But science can give you a leg up, I think, and getting into the heads of somebody who you might want to find you likable.
Okay, that's a great place to start if you're using science to give you a leg up, as you would say, and you want someone to like you.
Oh, yeah. So you said, should we try and increase some of these different transmitters?
Yeah. What's like one way to go about that?
All right, let's see. One of my favorites that I think is most, it's a very interesting principle is misattribution. So a lot of these chemicals that we talked about, they're actually stimulating in the brain. They're exciting other neurons in the brain. So they're called excitatory neurotransmitters.
Okay.
And when people are using their sympathetic nervous system, known as fight or flight, it causes a lot of these excitatory neurotransmitters to be released.
Yeah.
Like the dopamine.
All of the same neurotransmitters that make people fall in love.
Exactly. Norepinephrine.
Okay.
It helps you stay awake.
Yeah.
But it also gives you that lovesick feeling, like I can't fall asleep.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
So you get that from people in addition to stressful situations?
Yeah, it can come from anywhere, particularly a sense of fear or vulnerability can even cause your body to go into this more aroused, excited state known as the sympathetic fight or flight
Got it.
system.
Okay.
So, for example, you could, if you want somebody like, a friend to start thinking about you more, romantically, or, you want them to even just like you and form a closer bond, you could put them in a situation that makes them feel a bit more vulnerable. Like a classic example, every neuroscience student will know is a high bridge. There was a famous study that found that strangers who met each other on a very, very high bridge were more likely to be interested in the other people because they were feeling their heart rates pumping, their cheeks are flushed, and they're talking to this stranger, and they misattributed being on this high bridge and feeling vulnerable because they're in a precarious, they're in this high bridge situation.
Yeah.
And they misattributed that to, wow, I'm talking to this stranger, they're really making me nervous. I must feel some type of way about them.
Wow.
And it was really just a high bridge. Scary movie will definitely, make people feel closer. And it's because you're feeling a little bit scared.
This is so creepy.
Yeah, scary movies, amusement parks. And what makes it even better is if you tailor it to the person that you're interested in.
Okay.
So like you said, like roller coasters. If somebody has a fear of being super high up.
I have a fear of being super high up. Go on.
Right? Then you could bring them to a place like that. And then not only are they feeling more, in a very excited state because they're feeling really nervous, but you're also going to form a closer relationship because they're sharing that vulnerability with you. And then you in turn can say, so you're really nervous about this. I too am nervous about these things. And then this, it's called self-disclosure, is when you self-disclose information and it's mutual. It goes both ways. It's reciprocal. Then people feel a lot closer that they've shared something with you.
That's kind of cute. I feel like I brought up the amusement park example because I feel like I've been to amusement parks with people and all of a sudden I'm like, is this more than friendship? And now I'm kind of
or like riding on the back of like a motorcycle, like
yeah, oh no,
going like through the,
Yeah, that makes so much sense. Matter of fact. Okay, I get it. So that's why women like motorcycle guys.
Oh yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Science answered that for us, I guess.
What's another example of a scientific way to make someone feel stronger about you?
To someone feel stronger about you. All right. If you want somebody to really feel strongly about you, one of the, one of the best ways that you can do this is by making yourself seem just like somebody that they would want to be around. So you're going to want to be really positive, really, all the positive things that one might associate with, say, an angel. And you can cause that by creating the halo effect.
Okay.
Which is where you display one positive attribute, and then the person who is witnessing this is thinking all of these other positive attributes that are associated with that initial positive attribute and assuming the whole thing. So it's called the halo effect because people will see you like an angel. If you've done one nice thing, they'll assume you're nice in all the other circumstances too.
So does this only work when you meet someone initially?
It's much better if you meet them initially and, you have a great positive reaction. You'll get what's called the halo effect. But say it doesn't go well for you, right? It looks like you're thinking of an awkward meet and greet there.
Am I that transparent?
So say you have a bad meeting, right? And it's a little bit awkward at first. And this person says, oh, this person, she's really nerdy. I'm not sure we get along all that well. What you can do is you can take the initial bad impression, and if you can change it to an impression that's actually good, then that good impression is going to be much more stronger and long-lasting than had you just made an initial good impression.
Interesting. Is that still classified as the halo effect?
No, the halo effect is mostly focusing on assuming other positive attributes because you've just found the one positive one.
Got it.
They have done studies based on first impressions.
Got it.
That the first impression is very, very important, but
Yeah.
don't despair if you don't have an initial positive first impression.
Okay, that's actually so interesting. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I feel like it's all about you have to make a good first impression because you never get a second one.
Oh, yeah. But if you can win them over and they say, oh, man, I was really wrong about that person,
Do you have an example of something like that? Like, say you meet someone, it's super awkward. You're fumbling over your words. You're not seeming super confident. Maybe sometimes I've met people and I'm having an off day.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel bad because I feel like that person has a bad impression of me when in reality, I was just stressed and going through a lot. And I feel like they don't know, that doesn't reflect who I am. So what's something that I could do to change their impression of me?
That's such a good question. I think that, something you could start with is just doing something nice. Just,
Okay.
the next, say, like you said, you were having a bad day.
Yeah.
Kind of rude, had something on your shirt, whatever. It looked a little unprofessional.
Yeah.
The next time, if you get there early, bring them a coffee. Go out of your way to do something small but nice.
Okay.
Then they're going to say, wow, this person, they're prepared, they're professional.
Yeah.
My first impression was so wrong. How could I have, misjudged them like that?
Wow. So I feel like it sounds like the guilt of them being wrong makes them feel more strongly in a positive direction.
I think that's a fairly accurate grasp.
Why are you laughing at me?
We're not, to be clear, disclaimer, we're not guilting anybody into saying things.
Well, I just feel like if I'm wrong about someone and I yeah, okay, maybe go with the wrong word. But if I'm wrong about someone, I'm I was deeply, that's actually, I feel like that even works with, there have been some celebrities who there was a huge hate train going on and I fell for it. And then I'll see more footage of them or interviews or things. I'm wow, I was really wrong. And I really jumped to conclusions here and I'll feel more strongly about I really love them and I really appreciate them as a person because I was initially wrong. And I do feel bad about that. So I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be someone you know.
Absolutely. It could just be anybody.
Guys, I have another fun fact for you. What's his name? I think his name is William Hanson, and I will double check that and put it on the screen if I'm wrong. But he does etiquette stuff on TikTok and YouTube, and I love him. And he informed me via TikTok, if you clinking your glasses is not proper etiquette. So you just go cheers and you can raise them.
Cheers.
But with cheers. Okay, we can drink first. Cheers.
Cheers.
But if you're on a date, it's considered poor etiquette to clink glasses because glasses can break. You can cause accidents and that goes wrong so often. Whereas the whole clinking glasses was made in a time where like mugs were made out of metal or wood, like nothing's happening to those. So like in today's day and age, like it is bad etiquette to do that. However, etiquette and manners are different. So if someone goes to do like cheers and like clink with you, then to like pull away is bad manners. So be polite and like have good manners, but like don't go out of your way to do that. Little fun fact from me, from William, actually. Shout out, William. Do you want more wine?
You know, science would also say having good manners on dates can be pretty important.
Okay.
Should we talk about some other things that you can do on a date to increase your chances your date is going to like you?
Yeah. Wait, I would love to hear this. Okay.
Amazing. I'm so into it. So one of my favorites, because, you know, of course, you know, relates back to Olivia Rodrigo. She is a master at this, is what's called the just world hypothesis.
Okay.
And what this basically says is that everybody having opinions of everybody else around, you go around thinking that good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people.
Okay.
And everybody knows this isn't true. Plenty of bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people. But in our heads from, you know, whatever childhood storybook it was, this is a hypothesis that's in everyone's head.
Okay.
So how you can manipulate this to your advantage is on it when you're on a date, talk only about the good, amazing things that have happened to you and how lucky you are and how fortunate and how everything's going just perfect. And even if it's a small thing like, wow, you know, I got to have coffee with my sister this morning. That was just so amazing. Then people are going to think that you're a really good person because all these good things just keep happening to you.
That's fascinating.
And why would good things happen to you if you're not a good person?
Yeah. Do you think it works in the opposite way as well? If you have a very negative mindset and keep talking about all the horrible things that keep happening to you, people think of you as a bad person?
Absolutely. Well, think because you missed your bus that, you know, you're just a mean person. It's true though.
But yeah. Well, like I also feel like when people are being pessimistic and like kind of coming complaining about everything, it makes you feel bad. Whereas when people are talking about how good life is, like it gives you a good little
it makes you feel good.
And you want to be around that person more.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's just world hypothesis.
Just world hypothesis is a good one. Okay.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I am going to remember that one. What's next?
All right. Another thing that you can do on a date.
Okay.
That, you know, it'll really make, you know, I think your date feel comfortable, feel more like, you know, increase their likability towards you, is that you can use communication to express your interest in this other person. And this will cause a principle called reciprocal liking.
Reciprocal liking.
Where somebody likes you just because they think that you like them. They say, oh, this person really likes me. I'm going to be nice back to them. They're nice to me. I'll be nice back to them. So by making it aware that you like another person, it's more likely that they're going to like you back.
Okay. I was watching On Purpose with Jay Shetty, and Vanessa Van Edwards was on there, and she was talking about something super similar, wherein if you go up to people and ask a lot of questions about them and are very, very interested in them and indicate that you want to be friends with them, so like not necessarily even in a romantic setting, but when you first meet someone and you say, oh my gosh, I think we would be great friends. Like, I really like you. I would love to like keep getting to know you, and speak about them in a way that makes them think that you really admire them. Like, they will be more likely to like you.
Absolutely.
Wow. So not even on dates, just when you're meeting people.
Anybody.
Okay.
Anybody you meet on the street. Even if it's, you know, the trolley driver, you know, in these Philadelphia trolleys, if you say, you know, thank you so much, when you go up, you'll often see people smile at you. Works in any situation. If you show that, you know, thanks for being here, I'm happy you're here, people are going to respond positively.
Okay, so you
making
can
friends on a date. Yeah,
be interested in getting to know someone, but then also just be appreciative of people.
Yeah, be sincerely appreciative of people and communicate how you're feeling. You know, I know everybody feels shy sometimes.
Yeah.
But if you can communicate those feelings that you like the other person, then they'll feel safe and comfortable to do the same thing.
Aw, that's cute. People just want to feel accepted and appreciated, and then they feel safe to feel that way as well.
Right? It's like the self-disclosure. If you're disclosing what makes you feel vulnerable and the other person's doing it too, it's going to bring you closer together.
Okay.
The same with likability. Like self-disclosing that you like them.
Okay, why do you think people are so afraid to express how they feel?
Why do I think people are so afraid?
Yeah.
You know, that is such a good question.
Because it seems so positive when we're talking about neuroscience principles. It seems like it is super positive to express positive feelings about people, but people are so nervous to do it.
I think it comes back to something I heard from somebody who was actually my host family in France. I love this host family in France. Something the dad said is that his son, who's 5 years old, makes friends so easily, and he said, I think it's a lot easier for kids because they're not afraid of what people think of them.
Okay.
And so I think that happens a lot with people that are older, is you're afraid of what people are going to think.
Yeah.
So if you can,
but you're saying that generally they feel good about it.
Yeah, is nobody's going to be upset if you're putting out positive feelings towards them in a respectful way. I think nobody's going to be upset by that, but I think people are afraid to feel embarrassed, which is why they might hesitate. But really, it's hard to go wrong by, showing up and being positive and respectful and, all the good things.
Absolutely. And I feel like even if someone does express interest and is very sweet to you and like very positive and really likes you, and like maybe you're just not in a place to be meeting new people, or like say you're at a party, you meet someone, you have a good conversation, and they're like, I like you, would love to see you again. Maybe you're not necessarily in a place to go out with them, but I feel like having been in that position, you still feel very positively towards that person, that interaction. And like maybe one day in the future, like when it will work out, like you still feel there's nothing to be embarrassed about. Like that person still because you were so upfront about the way that you feel and like we're very positive towards them, they'll still have positive feelings towards you.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter what, like even if they're not emotionally available that day. I don't know.
Yeah, that brings up such an important, neuroscience principle of associations.
Okay.
Even if that in that scenario, that person, they weren't available at that time, what that person, who came up and honestly and sincerely expressed their feelings, they've, got a positive association of the person that they said that to is now going to be thinking, wow, this person made me feel so good. They were so, mature and responsible. All these positive things is at a later point, that positive association is going to outlast a lot of the, conditions that may have been happening at the time.
Yeah.
Say they were, busy at that time. In the future, they'll still remember that positive association. So if you can associate yourself with positive things, then that's going to be remembered much more than, negative associations.
Do you have any more principles for like how to approach?
I'm so glad you asked. I was just going to say another one.
Tell me.
Actually.
Hit me with it.
Right, because you said, approaching, that a lot of the time people aren't going to be upset. But one time they might be upset is when you're making eye contact, Wait,
I thought eye contact was good.
Right. Everybody would say so.
Okay.
But it's a little bit of a double-edged sword.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, and throughout the world, like take monkeys, for example, a lot of species will actually take eye contact as a threat. And humans are the same. And, test it out on the subway if you want. But you go around staring at people and your stare is uninvited and they don't want you to be staring at them, you're going to make a lot of enemies and people are going to dislike you pretty strongly.
I actually think I do remember something about this where like there's a sweet spot in eye contact. Like you don't want to make too much eye contact.
No, people are going to think you're like out to get them.
But that's so facts. Like I do feel like people who stare me down in the street are out to get me.
You're like, why are you looking at me?
Oh my God, I feel like they're like a PI sometimes. I'm like, why are they staring me down like that?
Right?
So how long do you make eye contact with? Like, where does it go from, oh my gosh, like, hey, to, oh no, like I'm being stalked right now? What's that time limit?
I'm not sure about an exact time limit. I think it's more about, whether your stare is invited. So say you make a quick eye contact, right? Like I'd say a quick eye contact that's universally accepted. We're all just looking around at each other.
Yeah, quick eye contact, like maybe a little smile, and then you look away, like don't keep staring. Got it.
But if you see them and they smile at you a little bit, then if you continue to look at them, they're going to interpret it as interest rather than, like that out to get you feeling.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So if it's an invited stare, then definitely, that'll definitely be a good approach.
Okay. So look at them, smile, look away, like maybe look back to see if they're looking.
Oh, yeah.
I love the double eye contact move in like bars. I feel like it's a great signal, but I'm actually also learning that people don't pick up on those cues as much as one would think. Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, I think that, most of body language, like you're saying, it's a lot of it's nonverbal, but sometimes it can get really hard for people to pick up on that.
Yeah, I heard this actually also came from the On Purpose podcast with Vanessa Van Edwards, my queen. She was talking about how in 10 minutes, like men and women will like be in a bar and a woman will make a nonverbal cue of like attraction and men will not pick up on it until they've done it 29 times in 10 minutes. You need to make 29 nonverbal cues in 10 minutes. If you're thinking about like a 10-minute span, that's like a few a minute. That's a lot in 10 minutes. Yeah, you're making like 3 nonverbal cues. So like you're looking at someone, you're like, you do the quick eye contact, like you do the up and down. Like people really don't pick up on that as much as you would think. I found that super fascinating.
I don't think that they do either. So say that you're doing all these nonverbal cues.
Okay.
Major eye contact. It's invited that, they might be somewhat interested in you. But you still need to kind of make contact with this person and kind of like introduce yourself.
Okay.
There are even further still almost nonverbal cues that will help you out. And when I say nonverbal, I mean like not the words you're saying, but the manner in which you speak will actually influence your likability. So even when you're first introducing yourself, the quality of your voice, if you're smiling, if you're enunciating your words, that all affects what this person thinks of you.
Wow. Okay.
So, yeah, it doesn't even matter what words you're saying, but you need to enunciate clearly. And also smiling is a huge thing. They've even done studies where people answering the phone, if they answer the phone with a smile on their face, they're more likely to be rated as a high likability.
So you can really hear that in someone's voice.
You can hear a smile through the phone.
Okay. Wait, that's so cute. I like that.
So as I answer the phone, I go, "Hi, it's so good to see you."
Oh, hear you.
So good to hear you.
So good to hear your voice. That is so cute. Yeah. Okay, give me an example of like a good way to like introduce yourself to someone. I'm Caitlin. Nice to meet you.
Hi, I'm Nuala. It's nice to meet you.
Okay, so you're smiling, you're giving the eye contact, you're saying it with confidence.
Yeah. Confidence is huge. Smiling, eye contact. Notice how I mirrored you exactly. You shook your hand.
Crazy. She did.
Shook right back. Eye contact, just like you did. And, throughout the conversation, if you can keep doing that and keep kind of mirroring the other person, it'll definitely influence that likability.
I feel like I've heard mirroring before. Just in general, is that something that helps people to like you?
Yeah, honestly, it does start pretty young a huge way that children learn is through observation. And they observe, parents, caregivers, all of these things, and then they replicate those behaviors. So there have been a number of studies, one involving a doll that's pretty famous, where, how the children would watch the adults play with the doll, and then they would replicate that exact same thing.
Oh, no way.
You do a lot of learning through observing other people.
Okay, so it's something we've always done.
Yeah, so if you're observing someone else and they're doing the same thing as you, it's going to reduce your own anxiety of say, oh, this other person and I, we're already close. We're already thinking the same way. We're similar. And if, you think somebody is very similar to you, either in personal characteristics or even if they look similar to you, you're going to be more likely to like them.
Wow. So when it comes to mirroring and meeting new people, what are some things that you can mirror that will make someone like you more?
Yeah, great question. Body language is huge.
Okay.
Eye contact is huge.
Okay. What kind of body language might
Body
you be able to
positioning.
mirror? Okay.
Body positioning.
So the way that you're doing to me right now.
Uncross your legs. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the eye contact, the smiling, all huge. But you also want to match what the other person's doing, you know? Smiling and being happy is great, but if somebody else is having a hard day, it's not going to be as as well received if you're, over the top happy.
Yeah.
So mirroring other people's emotions can have positive effects.
Okay. What about, say you're on a date? I feel like an example that I've seen a lot on dates is like when you go to take a drink, like they go to take a drink. Is that another example of mirroring, or is that just
Absolutely
unconscious?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit subconscious.
Yeah.
Unconscious of a.
I think you're right. I think it was subconscious, and I said unconscious.
No, actually, that's a common misconception, is that a lot of people would prefer the term subconscious.
Yeah.
But in neuroscience, you say that that's actually the unconscious.
So I was right.
Yeah, and they found that the unconscious actually makes decisions better than the conscious when it's complex variables. So like about who to date. If it's more than, say, like 12 variables compared to like 3 or 4, So there's low numbers of variables, high numbers of variables. If it's a complex decision with high number of variables, then it's best if your unconscious does it. And that will make the better decision.
Well, how do you know what your unconscious mind thinks?
So you make a list of all the attributes. What do you think of, this or that?
Like the classic pros and cons of dating someone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And then you go do something else for a while. Just, let it fade from your mind. And then the next time that you come back to it, you're going to have some idea in your head where, often people say, I just feel like this is the right decision.
Okay.
I can't say why, I can't put my finger on it, but I just feel like this is the right course to go in.
So that gut feeling is your unconscious mind
going over all those complex variables and actually coming up with a decision.
Wow. And how do scientists know that that is the right decision for people?
That's a great question. They actually, in the study that I'm thinking of, they did this study with cars, actually.
Okay.
And they had different attributes of cars, colors, makes, models, mileage, all these things. And they varied the amount of different variables, right? So for one group, it was small amounts of variables. The other group, it was complex variables.
Yeah.
And then I believe what they did is they asked if people were happy with their decision later. They said, we asked you to make this decision. If you had to buy a car, which would you buy? What do you think of that? Do you think that you made the right decision? And they found that people who let their unconscious do it for the complex amounts of variables were more happy with their decision, and the people who made a conscious decision based on 3 or 4 variables were happier with their choice. So if you have a simple decision, you should sit down, look at it, and figure it out. But if it's really complex, take a step back and see what that gut feeling is later.
That's so fascinating. And especially like coming back to dating, I feel like a lot of people have that issue where they're picking between someone, or even like deciding whether or not they want to stay in a relationship. Things get so complex, and there's so many variables when you've known someone for longer.
1,000%.
So I feel like that's a great way to apply it. That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a hack.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What's next? What do you have for me, Nuala?
What do I have for you?
Yeah. Give me a principle.
Absolutely. So this is one of these principles for you just starting to get to know this person. Their impression of you isn't fully hard set yet.
Okay.
What you should do, or what can help you, is to ask them for a small favor.
Okay. So you walk into someone's house, what are you?
Why are we walking into other people's houses?
Like, okay, you know what?
They invite you over.
That's obviously what I meant. Whatever. Thank you, Noah. So you are invited to someone's house and you walk in and they're like, can I get you anything? And you're like, oh, a glass of water would be great. Would that be like a small enough favor to make an impression, or is that too small?
That's a perfect example.
Okay.
Because then they're walking over to the kitchen, they're getting a new clean glass for you, filling it with water. And why would they do any of that if they didn't like you?
Okay, so small favors make people think that they like you more because they're doing a service for you.
Yeah, they're doing a service for you. And the brain likes best when the actions and its thoughts are aligned with each other. So when there's a situation of your actions and your thoughts don't match, what will happen is the brain will change the thoughts so that they match the actions.
Wow.
And so this state where the thoughts aren't matching the actions, that's known as cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very uncomfortable to be in cognitive dissonance. So the brain will change the thoughts and say, they're like, the person you asked for the glass of water, I don't really care about this stranger, just a friend of a friend. But then you ask them to get the water and they say, I'm doing this favor for this guest. I must, really appreciate having her here. Because why would they get you a glass of water if they don't want you there?
Yeah, that's such a simple way to change someone's mind about you. But you're saying it's for when you're getting to know someone. So it doesn't, if you've known someone for years, that's a little more complicated.
Yeah, their impression might be a little bit more set.
Okay.
Yeah.
But while someone's impression is still setting of you, that's a good time to take advantage of, that sounded wrong. Don't take advantage of people. That's a good opportunity to perhaps keep cognitive dissonance in mind.
Yeah. Just, if you want somebody to feel more favorably to you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cute. I like it.
Yeah. And when you're asking them for, either, a small favor or say it's a larger favor, there are two approaches that are very well known through neuroscience, psychology. You can do what's called the foot in the door method.
Okay.
Which is you ask for a small request. And then once that's granted, you ask for a larger request.
Will that larger request make someone like you more, or is that just so that they're more willing to say yes?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah, the larger request, right? Because why would they do a favor for you? Especially such a big favor.
Yeah, I feel like if you start off by asking for a big favor,
it's random person. Why would I do that?
Yeah, that hardly ever goes well.
Mm-hmm.
But if you ask for something small first. Okay.
Just maybe.
So glass of water and then your social security number.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's actually the goal with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind, scammers.
Yeah, then the car keys.
All right. What's our second method? And then the car keys.
Yeah.
Okay. And Lamborghini next. Okay. Next. Sorry. What's the next method?
Right. So the other approach is the door in the face method.
What?
This is
from foot in the door to door in the face.
Door in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, this is for when you ask for a completely outlandish request. So you ask for the keys, to the Lamborghini.
Okay.
And then you ask them to make you dinner. And they say, okay, I'm not giving you the keys to my, to my super nice luxury car.
Okay.
But, maybe I can make some spaghetti.
Okay.
And then you'll still have that, the principle of cognitive dissonance. They'll say, why would I make spaghetti for this girl if I don't like her?
Okay, so these are methods of getting someone to do you a favor, and in that process, maybe they like you more.
For you, yeah.
Yeah.
They like you just a little bit more.
Wow, you're really giving us a guidebook here.
I'm doing my best. I really referred to Kaplan, shout out Kaplan, MCAT textbooks. That's the medical college admissions test.
I know. I'm talking about little podcasts that I've watched. I know things on just like MD, PhD textbooks.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
Speaking of cognitive dissonance effect, Nuala, will you play Heartbreak Hotline with me? Will you do me this small favor in playing Heartbreak Hotline with me?
I'd love to do that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, must like you a lot.
Yeah, I would hope so. Welcome back to Heartbreak Hotline. On Heartbreak Hotline, I ask you guys on Instagram if you have any questions, anything you need advice on, and we're going to answer those questions now on the podcast with the Neuroscientist. First Heartbreak Hotline question, and this is one that I get a lot. A lot of people DM me about this. I feel like this is a huge issue for people. How do you get out of the friend zone?
Wow, what a serious question off the bat. This is
I
a
feel like
great
it's
one.
common. Yeah, this is a big issue.
Yeah, a lot of people ask this, right? I mean, who hasn't been in this situation? So let's see. Thinking back over some of these neuroscience principles that, we've talked about, one thing that I might want to try is, a combination of the misattribution. If somebody says, oh, this is my friend, I feel really calm, really relaxed about them, I'm not feeling romantic excitement like that. You can bring them to a place where they would already be feeling very excited, right? Like the high bridge situation or, roller coaster park, scary movie, even, and, it's even better if you tailor it to them, camping maybe.
So whatever they might feel stressed about doing.
Do it with them.
Okay, got it.
And they'll feel a lot closer to you. They might even just misattribute their fear for excitement for this person.
Wow.
Oh, wow, like I'd always been so chill hanging out with this person before, but, now my heart's racing.
Aw. Like a little manipulative, but it's not like... Maybe just to test things out. Do you think that's manipulation?
I think it's a fine line, for sure.
It's a fine line.
I think maybe a little. I think, not like explicitly. But yeah, it might be. But I think what's important to recognize about that is that everybody is really everybody has a self-identity, and you're always trying to manage how other people perceive you.
Yeah.
So I think on some level, everybody already is trying to manipulate each other by base level at all the time. You're trying to control how other people see you, influence how they feel about you. And, I think that it's just what social interaction is. So
unconsciously, everyone's just trying to manipulate each other all the time. And that is social interaction. Yeah. That's good.
That reminds me of, like a lot of the time people will perceive themselves like an actor would perceive themselves on a stage. And when you're in front of other people, you're in a front stage role. Like everybody's looking at you. Your actions are very closely watched. And then sometimes you're in a backstage role where the audience isn't seeing you. So you're more free to act how you might, not normally act. You're a little bit more vulnerable.
Okay.
So, that approach might even help you get out of the friend zone. If you can bring someone to the backstage, they'll say, wow, I feel, really more vulnerable. I feel a lot more like myself.
Okay, so like hanging out with someone in their house.
Yeah, something more casual, more intimate.
Okay.
Yeah, where they're not feeling a lot of pressure to act a certain way, to look a certain way.
Got it. So you're hanging out with someone, you do something fun, maybe misattribution is brewing up in there. Yeah. How can you tell if someone likes you? Moving into our next Heartbreak hotline question.
Yeah, it's really going to be, that eye contact. Huge. Are they smiling? Are they mirroring your behavior?
Okay.
Are they trying to be closer to you? Are they displaying any of those signs that would indicate that they might like you, like they're saying? Or are they responding to any, if they're shy, they might not take the first step. But if you take that first step, are they going to meet you halfway? Okay.
Can you give us an example of that?
Yeah. Like say, for a while you've used, what's called the mere exposure effect, which is, somebody has a positive association formed with you from numerous neutral encounters, right? So, you're, office friends with someone, they see you a lot. They're like, yeah, I know that person. They're pretty nice.
So you're saying just from spending time with someone, they'll like you more?
Yeah, they'll start to have a positive feeling about you.
Okay.
And then how you might see if they like you is see if they can go to, a more close, intimate place, like emotionally, but also physically. Like ask, oh, would you want to grab, a glass of wine, a coffee? Most people would interpret a one-on-one sit down as a more intimate setting. So if they say, oh, yeah, that sounds really nice, then right there, that's an indication they like you.
That's so interesting to me because I feel like I get a lot of DMs of people asking questions like this because they put a lot of pressure on themselves for, okay, if this person likes me, like, I don't know if I should ask them on a date. Like, do they like me enough for that? but it doesn't necessarily have to be something that has so much pressure with it. If you spend a lot of time with someone, you could just ask them out, like, do you want to grab a coffee with me tomorrow?
Absolutely.
And see if they'll do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, very low pressure. But yeah, if they're wanting to go to, a more intimate, like, that dramatological way of looking at things, like you're an actor, if they want to go to the backstage and something that's not, professional for work, they're being paid to be there.
Yeah.
Something like that. Something that's like more voluntary, and, if they want to spend time with you, that's a huge indicator they like you.
Okay, perfect. I feel like we've touched a little bit on this next one. How can you be more confident when approaching someone?
Such a great question. Everybody wants to know the answer to this, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this is the biggest question that people have. And I talk about confidence a lot on the podcast. And a lot of the time, I feel like my advice is just to fake it till you make it.
Right? I think that's sometimes the best advice.
Yeah.
So how can you fake confidence? It's the real question there.
Do you have an answer for us?
Oh, I sure do.
She knows it.
Yeah, it's going to be what we talked about this a bit earlier, that body language is huge. So if you have an upright posture, they've done numerous studies about, there's another good study, that your body positioning influences confidence, actually.
Influences your own confidence.
Influences your own confidence, other people's perceived confidences of you.
Okay.
So if you have an open body positioning, right, you're not crossing your arms, you're very open, that's going to make people think that you're very comfortable yourself, you're open, you're confident.
I've actually heard that even the opposite, the influx and inverse. I've heard the inverse of that, where if you're in a bar and you want to be approached, but you're holding your phone up in front of your chest, or you have your arms crossed over your chest, or you have a drink there, like the closed off body language.
You're subconsciously telling everyone that you're not open to talking or to any engagement.
Okay.
Closed off.
I see. But just having an open body language, body positioning.
It makes other people think you're more confident.
More confident and approachable.
Yeah. And it even goes further than that. They've done studies based on confidence positioning, where they found that people who did a Superman pose, like in the mirror before a test, actually did better on the test. Okay. So your body positioning can influence your confidence. That will then influence your actual, skills and your performance.
Okay, perfect.
So if you feel, the body positioning can make you feel more confident, and then it'll actually make you act more confidently too.
I feel like I saw that in like a TEDx speech about power posing. The Superman one?
Yeah, the Superman pose. Yeah.
That's a good one. I like
every
that.
test I'm trying to, I'm like, I'm going to sit up real tall,
I used to do that before I gave presentations in class, because I saw that TEDx speech when I was in high school. And I went and go to the bathroom, do my little Superman pose. It works. I like it.
It does work.
Okay, our last Heartbreak Hotline question. What makes someone attractive?
What makes someone attractive?
If you want to be perceived as more attractive, what are some small changes that you can make in your body language and the way you speak to someone? What are some examples?
Yeah. So you want to start with forming positive associations.
Okay.
Associate yourself with, anything positive. You're around cute animals, you're, doing nice things for other people, great things are happening to you. This is going to make people think that you're a really good person, which is super attractive.
Okay.
And then when we're getting into the more physical, they found that a lot of the time it's not so much as important of what you look like, but rather how you're presenting yourself. So like we talk about, present yourself as somebody who's confident, who is, very assured in themselves, who's comfortable in their own body. And that confidence is going to make you be perceived as being very attractive, especially when you have a smile, when you're enunciating your words clearly, when you're making eye contact. All of these things will, make people think you're more attractive.
Wow. Okay. That's so fascinating. So it's not necessarily even about what you look like physically.
No. I mean,
just
on some level, yes, but there's so much, room for interpretation there, and it can really change, and you can really elevate your attractiveness, or you can have the opposite effect. You know, if you're just rude and have all these like bad associations with you, people aren't going to think you're attractive.
Okay, that's actually so true. I feel like I've met people who everyone says like who they seem very, very physically attractive, but in conversation, just like the pessimistic mindset will make them seem so unattractive. But like, so it really does. Your attitude is everything.
Yeah, it definitely, I think, a bit reminds me of the stepsisters in Cinderella.
Yeah.
Is that they're the ugly stepsisters. But I feel like it's not even because of their physical appearance. It's because of how they treat the people around them. That they're just, you know, it doesn't, you know, nobody even knows what they look like, but they just know how rude they are all the time.
So if you want to be perceived as attractive, be positive and nice to people?
Yeah, be positive, be nice, those positive associations.
Be nice, boys. That's all we need.
Nice, guys.
Just be nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching Heartbreak Hotel. Nuala, thank you so much for coming on and teaching us all about how to make people fall in love with you. From a real neuroscientist. Guys, she's going to be a pediatric optic neurosurgeon. Is that still the plans?
Yeah, maybe something like that. A lot of words in that one, for sure. Pediatric optic neurosurgeon. 3 specialties.
Did I make that up? Or did you tell me that?
No, I mean, it's possible, for sure. Lots of specialties. You know, I'll maybe pick one of those.
Okay. You know, she's
to start, and we'll see about some fellowships after. But we'll start with that.
We're starting with neurosurgery.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah,
into the PhD program.
PhD in neuroscience.
Yeah, follow along with Nuala on that journey. Her Instagram is Nuala Grace O'Neill, but I'll put it in the description. And thank you so much for coming on. I'll have you back on next time I'm in Philadelphia. Period.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah. Should we do one last little cheers to close out?
Cheers for the hotel.
I'll follow the etiquette rules.
Thank you for coming on Heartbreak Hotel.
Thank you for having me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday.